If you're speaking, chances are there's going to be someone who introduces you.
Okay.
So
That's what I don't have.
I'm going to introduce you and you just fill in the blanks.
Okay.
Our first speaker tonight is Tammy Nicks. Tammy is originally from
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas.
Hometown girl.
She's a hometown girl, and her daytime hours include.
Something. No.
During the day, how did I say it? Your daytime, what you do during the day.
Yeah.
I have an online business.
During the day.
Health and wellness business, and I help my daughter with my 2 granddaughters.
Oh, that's neat. Okay, and for hobbies, Tammy likes to...
Love to read. Love the homework trainer. Got a little too much of that during Christmas.
Yeah, me too. Help me welcome Tammy Nicks.
Thank you so much for being here. As I look around the room tonight, I see each of your beautiful faces. I see your care that you've taken in the makeup that you've applied. I see your hair styled just right. I see your smiles. I even noticed that your outfit is put together perfectly. But you know what? I can't help to wonder, what mask are you wearing today? What life events do we not share? Instead, we put on the perfect mask each time we gather with friends and acquaintances. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
When you're asked the question, how are you? The standard is, great. Life is great. I'm great. Or this weather, it's so chilly outside. anything, you say anything, other than what you struggled with up until the second before you walked in this room, or even those things that have kept you up at night, not able to sleep because you're so worried about those things, or anxious about those things, or still replaying those old movies from your past. Even with our dearest friends, our closest acquaintances, we maintain that mask of life is great. Is it okay today to share a little bit of my story about the day that my mask crumbled? That's why I'm here. And it fell right to the floor. The day I admitted for the first time in my life that I was not okay. Life was not great for me. It was in February 2004. I had just begun attending a great big church where I could sit unobtrusively in the middle of the middle, visible only to a few neighboring folk that you greeted right before you sat down, took your seat. Not in the back row where you have to greet and smile at each person passing by, and certainly not in the front row. That's where my mother's sat, not me. Just in the middle. That way, I was lost in the sea of faces. We all kind of blended in, lest someone ask one too many friendly questions. I was not ready to answer anything other than, how are you? And my answer being, life is great. And then, they announced the start of a small group. Meetings on Sunday evenings where we all gathered, just a few people, hence the name, small group, right, at the mega church. And we discussed an assigned topic. The book chosen this time was actually The Purpose-Driven Life by Pastor Rick Warren. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. That's a good topic. I can, I'll be interested in knowing, why am I here? At this point, honestly, is why am I still here? What's my purpose? What am I doing? Why? And so I signed up. I thought, okay, this is harmless, safe. We're going to read the book. We're going to answer a couple questions, and this is it. It's all going to be on the surface, right? So I signed up to attend at a couple's home very close to where I was living at the time with my mom and stepdad. And I didn't know anybody. I didn't know the host couple. It was just all going to be new people. They didn't know what I'd just been through. At the very first meeting, we were sitting around a table, much like this, and there were 9 strangers to me at that time. And the host, he goes around the room, he makes his way to each person, and he says, so, tell me about you. Very lovely guy, very friendly, genuinely interested. Looks you in your face and says, tell me about you. And then it got to me. And it was my turn. And that's it. That's all it took. Suddenly, my mouth opened and I said, my name is Tammy and I've been through hell. Did I mention those people didn't know me? And did I also mention that it was the first time in my life I had ever been able to be honest about how life was at the moment? Yeah? No? Maybe? You see, just like every one of you in this room, I'd been through some hard things in my life. Up until then, I'd been able to gloss over and maintain my life as a great mask, especially in a room full of strangers. No one, not my family, not my colleagues, not my church friends, no one knew what I'd been through. I had not shared the hard, deep life events with a single person. I was 35 years old and did not have a single friend in my life that I trusted enough to share the burden of guilt and shame that was my life. I carried it alone. And if I must say, I carried it quite well too, apparently, until I couldn't. You see, it had been just a little over a year that my son had passed away in his sleep, and his 15th birthday was coming up at the end of that month. Simply could not look at that man in the eye and tell him life was great. Couldn't do it. The host couple and another couple that I met soon after became my first friends. The wives, Trisha and Angelica especially, were the first trusted friends in my life. I've since learned the value of true precious friends. They loved me without the dreaded judgment that I had dreaded my whole life from other people. They laughed with me and they cried with me. But most importantly, they walked with me on the journey to this place where I am today. I even sent my friend Angelica a copy of this and said, you need to pray about this with me. I'm giving it for the first time tonight. And today I can share. I can look at you and I can share how angry I was at God for taking my son. How I resented him taking somebody so precious to me. I can tell you that the months after RJ's death were the first time in my life that I was honest in my conversations with my Creator. I didn't utter a single socially acceptable prayer during that time. Oh no. I cried ugly and wailed at the emotions that raged inside me till one day. And that day changed me forever. I clearly remember being in the midst of a heartfelt outburst and then suddenly picturing a story in the Bible. The one, where the guys are in the boat, they're going to cross the sea, and the hurricane winds come up, and the water's coming off, and I'm coming over the sides, and the hurricane is threatening to take the boat down and drown every man in that boat. And then Jesus stands up, and he calms that water, calms those waves, and that sea was like glass at the 3 words that he said. He said, peace, be still. And just like in that story, my emotions calmed. My raging, out of control emotions calmed. That's been 6 years ago now. And I've never felt that way again. Somehow, my anger and the angst of losing my son was rolled all in together with that of the events that were beyond my control in my childhood and replaced with a calmness of spirit. Yeah, I'll be very honest. There are still difficult days that bring raw emotions, but not like that. That feeling of uncontrolled rage and grief that was overwhelming to me, it's gone. It's gone. It's been a journey of peeling back the layers, kind of like an onion, peeling the layers of an onion, of my once secure as Fort Knox mask. As you might imagine, in a moment, I spent a lifetime applying those layers, layer upon layer. We moved around so much when I was a child that I attended 8 different schools. Sometimes I attended 2 different schools within a single year. And each move brought new adventures, new neighborhoods to explore, and yeah, you guessed it, new opportunities to put on a different mask for the people I was about to meet. I didn't think about that then. I just did it. Maybe it was a practice learned by hanging out at the beauty shop where my mom worked, hearing all the ladies talk about another woman, if her hair was done just right, if her makeup was on perfect, if she had the right shade of lipstick. Lord help us if her shoes did not match the hemline of her skirt or her pants. I grew up with that. Maybe it was that I heard those same conversations at the church ladies groups. Same thing, same thing. Or, I don't know, really. In my mind, I don't think I paid attention to that. At least that's what I thought. Because I was a tomboy. I was the firstborn. I was daddy's little girl. And I spent my time learning how to ride horses, going to rodeos, learning how to hunt and fish, and play pool at the bars with my dad while he was babysitting on Saturdays. My mom was at work. Yeah, I was just like my father in those days. Definitely daddy's girl. I had no idea that the reason for all of our moves were not, in fact, due to the gypsy blood in our veins, in our family. We didn't have gypsies in our family. I know that the root was really my dad's alcohol addiction. He couldn't deal with the things in his life, so he did what he saw his father do. He drank to cover them up until he couldn't. Then he would quit that job, and we would all get a fresh start in a brand new town, either in Texas, where my mom was from, and where they met, or in Arkansas, where he grew up. I faced honestly, and even shared in recent years, about the sexual abuse that started by members of my extended family that began at age 5. Even harder to face and share are the decisions that I made and actions that I took, driven by the guilt and shame of the game started by my uncle. You know, the one where if anyone ever found out, they would know how bad I was. Yeah, I would be in trouble. Feelings of dirty and shamed developed as I got older, and I realized what had happened. I was driven in my school days to be involved in as many school activities I could fit in each year. I was a cheerleader for 8 years. I was in the drill team. I was on the debate team. I was on the drama team, the science club, the French club, honor society, and I took all of the advanced courses. I was an excellent student without putting forth very much effort. I was surrounded by people, groups of people, teams of people, but I was alone. Anyone know that feeling? All my life. As an adult, I have thrived in sales and support positions. I've networked, I've traveled, I've trained teams, I've spoken easily and confidently to groups of different sizes. All I did each time was put on whatever mask was needed that day, and away I go. Back to the school days for a moment. I'm so amazed and eternally grateful from the protection of the drug and the alcohol scene that was present in my school and among my friends. Thankfully, I was too busy for that. Or, if I attended the bonfire parties, then I was the one driving people home, because to this day, and even then, I don't like the taste of cheap beer or strawberry wine. Maybe you know that taste. You know what I'm talking about. There's a whole song about it. The summer before my senior year in school, something changed for me. I'd been working in different places since I was 14. The beauty shop, the shoe store, the deli, Chick-fil-A, all these different places. That summer, in particular. I lied about my age, the makeup, the hair, and the outfit. Remember? I looked much older than I was. And I got a job at President's Health Club working with grown-ups in their 20s. Grown-ups who went to the bars, drank, and had fun with strangers and talked about it the next day. I was tired of being the good one who didn't do all that stuff in school. I didn't do that. I was ready for the big time. Oh my God, what was I thinking? One night, I accompanied a group to a bar, picked out a guy, and went home with them. Still not very comfortable sharing this, especially in mixed company. But you need to know this, because it's the day that I found out that I wasn't a virgin. At 17, and with no practical knowledge of my virginity being taken before that time, my world came crashing down. I had stuffed the details of the 7 years of the actions with my uncles. You may notice the plural there. So far deep in my subconscious that I couldn't recall that very important detail. I didn't know that. Honestly, there's still things I don't remember about that time period from age 5 to age 12. So that began the downward spiral of promiscuity, involvement in marriage with a guy who seemed safe. Now I can recognize and know that it was because of the alcoholism was familiar. It was present. He drank every single day to relax, whatever. But he wasn't violent. It was familiar to me. That's my dad. And so at age 22, of course that didn't work, you know. Anyway, at age 22, I found myself divorced with 2 young children to support, and I couldn't be dependent on the irregular child support that kind of dribbled in. I began working 2 jobs, including working at bars at night. I was outgoing, I was vivacious, I made a lot of money. My mom's advice to me when I was in 2nd grade trying out for cheerleading was really paying off. She said, all you gotta do is look them in the eye and smile. And boy, did I have that down. But I was still miserable. I looked for love in way too many wrong places to count, resulting in 2 unplanned pregnancies. I wish I could say I have a family of 4 healthy, beautiful children. That's not the case. Fear and desperation led to ending the first pregnancy at 6 weeks. So yeah, all this stuff going on right now in the state of New York, I can talk about that. The guilt and the shame that I've carried since. Paralyzing at times. The 2nd baby was adopted by a wonderful, godly family and raised with love and privileges I never could have given her. This lifestyle was not working well for me. You know, it's popular kind of when people say something, you say, well, how's that working for you? Well, I'm telling you, this was not working. I had to get out of the bar scene and raise my 2 children right. That was my thought process. I did. I dropped my then goal because I was attending college classes during the day. And I dropped my goal of finishing nursing school and instead obtained a quick certificate to be a medical assistant. That led to several positions in and around the medical field. And it was during that time, around the year 2000, that I began to feel God nudging me. I am ever so grateful for the seed that was planted and that I'd been baptized at age 7 and knew a little, very, very little, of what life was supposed to look like. I had gleaned over the years, woven into the adventures, that life was supposed to be better than what I had. This was not what I was supposed to be doing. It's not how I was supposed to be living. I began searching for that. Little did I know that while my mom, who was babysitting, was driving my kids to Sunday school each week, they were praying for me. So don't ever discredit the prayers of children or the power of a praying mama, because I'm standing here today because of the prayers of my mama. I can tell you that. Much like the school days, I joined a small church began working in every area that I could. I figured that if all the people in the church and God, hello, saw all the hard work and the good work that I was doing, maybe it would somehow like cancel out all the sin and shame in my past, and I would never have to talk about what really happened in my life. I could just be busy doing good work. I could work really hard, and I could really do a lot. I was even traveling to conferences with pastors. At home, I was a scared, angry, single mom, eaten up with so much responsibility of raising my kids by myself and shame of my mistakes and my failures in my life to date. I took it out of my kids because they were the closest to me. We struggled daily. They, my children, especially my daughter, also learned to put on the mask and hold it tight. No one knew of the violent abuse that she had suffered until 6 months after that person committed suicide. I had no idea that my daughter had also been affected. My brown-eyed, curly-headed girl had gone through much worse than what even I went through. Did I mention we've been through some hard things? Today I can stand here and I can tell you how grateful I am. I never seriously thought about ending my life, but oh my gosh, there sure have been so many days where it would have just been easier not to live through the pain of those days. To curl up into a ball and simply stop breathing. That hasn't happened. I'm still here. And I'm a bottom line kind of girl. And so what I realized that if I'm still here, then God's got to get me through it. Because if he doesn't get me through it, then that means I'm in heaven with him. And either way I win. Right? And so when I get to the bottom, the rock bottom some days, I always have to circle back around and come to that thought. I'm either going to get through it or I'm going to be in heaven. One of those two things. If I had simply stopped breathing and stopped living when it was the easiest, then I wouldn't be married to the amazing husband that I have now. I wouldn't know or have the chance to speak life and love into my two beautiful granddaughters. And I certainly wouldn't have been around to witness the amazing accomplishments of my daughter, despite all odds being stacked against her. If there's one thing I want you to remember from my story, it's this. Only the faithfulness and grace of Jesus have gotten me through each hard season of my life. Only he could give me that personal identity, who I really am, and he could put an end to the gut-wrenching quest for more in life. Only he can give me the courage to share with you the story of a life once filled with shame that I couldn't imagine ever taking off my mask in front of you. Only he gives me hope and peace, knowing that I will see my son again in eternity. If you have things in your life that you just can't deal with, they're too hard to walk this road, and you need help, or if perhaps you're not sure where you're going to end up when all this is said and done, please say this prayer with me. Jesus, I have sinned, and I need you in my life. I believe that you're the Son of God, that you died on the cross for my sin. Lord, you rose from the dead and now sit at the right hand of God. I receive you as my Lord and Savior and choose to follow you. Amen. And if you prayed that prayer with me today, I want to say congratulations. Good days are ahead.